Dear colleagues, acute pneumonia, which is one of the oldest nosologies on the list and has been known to medicine for more than 2.5 millennia, not only remains one of the leading causes of morbidity and mortality in all regions of the world, but its importance and relevance have been steadily growing in recent decades. The reason for such situation is reflected is one of the classic postulates of medicine. If the treatment does not give the desired result, then such treatment is inadequate to the essence of the disease. It is obvious that even in condition of abundance and the possibility of a wide choice of methods of treatment, the attending physician will prefer methods that correspond to existing ideas about the nature of the disease and its features. This choice is quite legitimate and logical, though the search for the causes of insufficient effectiveness of treatment of acute pneumonia should begin with revision of the ideology of the disease. Effective suppression of the microbial agent of acute pneumonia is now a top priority in the treatment of this patient. However, let's look at the real implementation and value of such efforts. First, a reliable determination of the causative agent of acute pneumonia is possible only in small group of patients with purulent complication of the process when the material for bacteriological examination can be obtained directly from the area of inflammation. The presence of virulent microbes among the symbionts of the nasopharynx or oropharynx of healthy people is well known. However, the presence of strains more aggressive than the usual pathogens of pneumonia is not a prerequisite for the development of the disease. Secondly, one of the main reasons for the unsatisfactory results of the treatment of acute pneumonia is currently considered to be the lack of fast and reliable methods for determining the causative agent. But the paradox is that the vast majority of these patients are successfully cured without microbiological diagnosis. In the first years of antibiotic therapy, one drug was successfully used without preliminary bacteriological studies. Today, we have a wide range of antimicrobials using their combinations and advanced courses to achieve the goal. It is easy to see that the desire to cure a patient with inflammatory processes only with the help of antibiotics has remained faithful to the primary experience of this therapy. But over the past decades, the basic conditions of this aid have changed significantly. The resistance of microflora to antibiotics has appeared and continues to grow. Continuing the topic of pathogens of acute pneumonia, I would like to recall that today there are more than 100 such microbes. Against the background of widespread use of antibacterial drugs, there is a periodic change of leaders among the pathogens of acute pneumonia, since they are representatives of symbiotic microflora. So, if more than 40 years ago suddenly began to dominate Staphylococcus, then after a while the frequency of its detection began to fall, and it was replaced by Streptococcus. However, Streptococcus also did not have absolute dominance, giving way to other microorganisms. According to various statistics, acute inflammation in the lungs caused by fungi, viruses, or parasites is formed by a fairly large group of observations. Information about the etiology of acute pneumonia and its dynamics is one of the convincing arguments that the so-called vaccination against pneumonia, which has been carried out for many years, has not yielded triumphant results such as the prevention of many infectious diseases. In addition to the above paradoxes, I would like to draw your attention to one very important fact which is not reflected in the modern concepts of acute pneumonia and is ignored in the implementation of medical care. Acute pneumonia is the only non-specific inflammatory process localized in the vascular system in the small circle of blood circulation. The fundamental difference between pulmonary and systemic circulation, their inverse interdependence, should be known to every specialist with medical university education. In this regard, I would like to ask why a patient with acute pneumonia should receive intravenous fluids in the first hours of the disease. What catastrophic fluid loss can occur during this period of illness? What is really behind the so-called term intoxication? Who, where, and when presented objective evidence of the undoubted benefits of intravenous infusion in the initial period of acute pneumonia? Do you know such evidence? I don't know, and the infusion is simply taken by analogy with other diseases. Therefore, complex treatment of patient with severe acute pneumonia is not really different today from the choice of means in such different conditions, for example, such as intestinal infection or peritonitis. But we need to know that the first barrier to which intravenous injection solutions reach is in the area of pneumonia, right? In other words, this procedure should increase blood flow to the area of progressive inflammatory edema and tissue infiltration. Or another example, why a small focus of acute inflammation in the lungs can cause serious violation of gas exchange, why atelectasis of the lobe and even the entire lung usually do not have such serious changes of breathing. Dear colleagues, I had to look for answers to the questions posed and paradoxical situation more than 30 years ago, when their doubtfulness and contradiction to the existing facts were not as noticeable as today. Studies and results of clinical trials have shown not only the stability of successful treatment of acute pneumonia, but also the possibility of guaranteed prevention of its complications. However, in order to move the problem from the dead point, it is necessary, first of all, to change the understanding of the nature of the disease and the mechanism of its development. This is the most difficult, but absolutely inevitable step. I hope that the information presented today will give you a reason for reflection. At the same time, I very much regret that the time limit does not allow me to present many important details of the studies, the results, and new doctrine of the disease. In the last couple of years, some fragments of this my work have been published in international journals. However, if I have the opportunity of direct contact with the interested audience, I am ready to share with you in detail my experience in this section, at least on a theoretical level. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.